and welcome to For Better or Worse, a movie and TV podcast, the podcast where a married couple reviews movies and TV. If you like us, please follow us on Instagram and TikTok, and subscribe to us on YouTube at FBOW Podcast to show your support. We appreciate you all. I'm Toby.
I'm Gino.
And today we're going to be talking about
Crash Bandicoot on HBO Max.
Yep, that's it, you guys. Now, a little bit history about
Crash Bandicoot, developed by Naughty Dog for the original PlayStation.
Yep, a game Toby was not allowed to play with her friends because she was bad at it.
And now they've joined with forces with Mr. Chernobyl to make Crash Bandicoot the series on HBO Max.
Where everyone's infected by fungus.
Which is what it should have been. If you were going to start off with a Naughty Dog game to make into a serious HBO-style drama, it should have been Crash Bandicoot. No, I'm just kidding. Okay. So this is really about Jak and Daxter, another Naughty Dog game. It's about The Last of Us.
On HBO.
On HBO, which is developed, or was developed by Naughty Dog. It's non-spoilers.
Okay.
Me good at non-spoilers.
Me do.
I like it a lot. I played the game about like almost 10 years ago now when it came out on PS4. And I remember liking the game, and I remember like the big story beats and like character moments, but I don't really remember a lot. So like one of the characters from the first two episodes, don't even remember them from the game.
Which I have to say is crazy because Gino's memory is generally pretty
good.
But
there's so many good character moments that haven't happened yet, and those are the ones I remember. If anyone knows what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. So like, I know the story, kinda. I don't really remember it. But from what I can remember, it is following the story of the video game very closely. It's the same writer / director, Neil Druckmann, who is directing episodes and writing episodes. And then also the guy who made Chernobyl, which is Craig Mazin. So Neil Druckmann and Craig Mazin. They're doing a great job staying true to the story and the characters. I think Pedro Pascal is great as Joel. What's her face? The bear girl? From Bear Island. Bella Ramsey. That's not her name from Game of Thrones. Her real name is Bella Ramsey. Because Bella Ramsey sounds like a Game of Thrones character. Yeah, okay, thank you.
She's a Mormont.
Yes, Mormont. The more interesting of the two Mormonts. She is like great as Ellie. I'm playing Last of Us Part 2 right now, so like tons of spoilers. We're going to not do.
We're only doing the first two episodes.
Yeah, I can promise you right now, we are only going to talk about the first two episodes. I will not mention anything from the rest of the game or the other game. Anyway, it's weird seeing video game Ellie because Bella Ramsey's doing such a good job already. So for me, big thumbs up. For better, I really recommend it. Toby gave me the face of you're taking too long with non-spoilers. It's really good. If you have HBO, just watch it. Talk to your nerdy friends about The Last of Us. Honestly, just buy the game, too. I mean, the game is great. Like, I'm enjoying the game more now because of the show. So, for better. All right, Jobs.
That's good. I also say for better. And as someone who has never played the game or heard of this.
Or played any game.
Don't like games. Honestly, this game would be too scary for me to play.
It's definitely scarier as a game, yeah.
Yeah, because and I like watching horror movies, but like once I'm in the universe, like I don't want like something jumps out at me, I'll just fall dead. So
yeah, and I guess what you don't see in this version that you see a lot in the video game is the characters dying all the time when you mess up.
Right.
So like, there's you've been watching me play Last of Us Part 2, and every time I die, it's like shrieks of death and pain, and Toby's like, "What the hell?"
The sound effects are wild.
Yeah, so like it's weird because again, in the version I played, Joel and Ellie die all the time, and they haven't done that. So I guess it's really not following the story of the game as I played through it.
Right, and not on the hardest level.
No, I play on normal. I don't even play on. Yeah, I mean, I might as well just switch to easy.
So as somebody who has no prior knowledge of this, but it really enjoys like horror, suspense, and a good story so far, this is all of those things. It hasn't been, I feel, too scary. Like The Walking Dead, I feel like was also a good like entry into like this genre where it wasn't too scary. Like Dawn of the Dead, the beginning of it, that movie where they're in the mall in like 2000, one of the first scenes is like
Scary running zombies.
is like an eye in the crack of a door, like a kid like broke into his neighbor's house. He's a zombie already, and like is staring at them through a crack in their door. Like that to me, again as a child, was terrifying. This I haven't been terrified yet. It's like a very good. It's a very good intro to a new show if you're a brand new watcher.
Yeah, I would say like I don't really like horror games that much, and I can get through The Last of Us as a game, so it's not that it's not going to be that scary.
No, and so definitely from me for better.
Yeah, Millie, what are your thoughts? Non-spoiler. Millie the cat. Meow, 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 meow. Okay, spoilers from here on out, but again, only spoilers for
the first 2 episodes.
The first 2 episodes, even though I know what happens, I will not mention anything that has not already been shown in the first 2 episodes. Toby will also not. And if I do mention any of those things, we'll mark it down and I will bleep myself out. Also, if I say any curse words.
Yeah, because he wrote them in the notes as if he's going to ignore them.
Okay, Millie's now playing with the...
I know, I encouraged
Okay, so spoilers from here on out for the first 2 episodes.
Yay!
Okay, again, a little bit of backstory more. Because I just want to be clear on this. Because I know, but like Naughty Dog has been in a special place in my gaming life since I was a little kid.
We should have like music, like
I know,
heartwarming music building.
I know.
Behind
there's 2 games that I credit for like giving me a love of gaming. The first one being Donkey Kong Country.
I ruined it. I'm sorry.
For the Super Nintendo, developed by Rare, who was bought by Microsoft and then ruined, and they've sucked ever since they were bought by Microsoft. And then Naughty Dog, who was bought by Sony and has been since then just making banger after banger after banger. For those who don't know, Naughty Dog is considered one of the greatest game developer studios in the business. They created the Crash Bandicoot series, the first 3 games, and Crash Kart. They made Jak and Daxter. Then they made the Uncharted series, which, by the way, Toby, can we do a quick review of the Uncharted movie? Another Naughty Dog. Yeah, oh my God. So we tried before this podcast episode, we tried to watch the Uncharted movie with Tom Holland and
Matt Damon.
And Matt, no, please, Matt Damon. Matt Damon wouldn't be a bad.
Matt Damon. Oh,
no, Marky Mark.
Wahlberg.
And so
Damon.
Uncharted 4, not the first 3 Uncharted, but Uncharted 4 was also written by Neil Druckmann, the game. He had no involvement in the Uncharted movie. I think he was an executive producer. So the Uncharted movie, which has almost no involvement from Naughty Dog, really bad. Last of Us, which again is being run by the president of Naughty Dog, Neil Druckmann. Good. Also, the composer. Remember when we were watching the Uncharted movie and I was like, "This music sucks."
Played the music yet?
Yeah, and the Uncharted theme is awesome. They didn't get the original composer of the games to compose the movie. Guess who did get the original composer of the games to be involved?
Let me guess.
The Last of Us.
Crash Bandicoot.
Yes. Oh my God. I wish. So yes, Gustavo Alfredo Santaolalla.
Gino did not do well in language in high school.
But like, it's okay. We'll talk about that later. Anyway, so Naughty Dog, banger after banger after banger. They're considered one of the best. It's an event when one of their games comes out. So like, I don't know. They've always been like a constant in my life. Like, you know, Rare Studios, Naughty Dog, Insomniac, who made Spyro the Dragon and now makes the Spider-Man games. So like, it's just, I think it's nice that these game developers who have been part of my gaming life for this whole time are like still doing good work, even better work than when I was a kid. And like now this awesome, amazing story is now like I can share it with other people who aren't gamers.
I would also like to thank them, I guess, because this is the kind of genre that I want Gino to watch with me, and he won't.
No, I'll play it.
He'll play it, but he won't watch horror with me. And I'm upset about it. But this we can finally watch together.
Thing is, like, Naughty Dog could make a video game about like a cookbook, and I would play it. Just I'm like, all right, well, it's Naughty Dog. Like, they know what they're doing. So yeah, I mean, I'm a little upset that they didn't do Crash Bandicoot game.
What would Crash Bandicoot's voice be?
Whoa, he has a voice.
Does he say words?
He says, whoa, and that's pretty much it. Whenever he gets, I mean, like, you died a lot in that game, Toby. You should know what his voice sounds like.
No memory of it, no memory.
God, I could talk all day about these people. Yeah, Naughty Dog's great. They're also in charge of, like, making sure that other people can make games for PlayStation if, like, the PlayStation's hard to develop for. That's how talented they are. So yeah, good job on you, Naughty Dog. And Neil Druckmann's their current president. He started in like 2002, so like after Crash Bandicoot. He came
After Y2K, it was a big
in.
time in our lives.
Israeli Neil Druckmann. Is that a thing for you, Tobes? High five.
Oh, he's
Israeli American. Yeah, he's Jewish. Neil Druckmann.
All
Didn't
right.
I? Okay,
Not all
I can't say
Israelis
it.
are
It's spoiler for Last of Us Part
he
2.
can't say. You guys, he caught himself.
I caught himself already.
Let's see how many times this happens.
Okay. So yes, show is written and directed by Neil Druckmann. Neil Druckmann, woke SJW sellout. Not that this is a spoiler for Last of Us Part 2, but when Last of Us Part 1 came out and Uncharted 4 came out, Neil Druckmann was everyone loved him, right? The man. Last of Us Part 2 comes out and the story leaks and there's like female characters in it. And every conservative, like blogosphere YouTuber just like hated his guts for years until today, until literally the show came out. I ended up not playing Last of Us Part 2 because the story leaked. So that's why I didn't play it.
Gino doesn't like spoilers.
I didn't have a PS5. I didn't have a PS4 at the time. But
The real
yeah,
reason.
so female characters are in this, and I guess the internet doesn't like that.
Women doing things.
So, like, if you ever Google Neil Druckmann or YouTube Neil Druckmann, it's all just like, he's a woke sellout. Naughty Dog's gone woke, and no one's buying Last of Us Part 2.
You guys, you know what? They should make a Crash Bandicoot.
He wasn't around for Crash Bandicoot.
I was
I
was going to make it a girl name, but it's
Crash
weird.
Bandicoot. Crash you just add an A at the end.
Bandicoota.
And she's like, whoa, but I'm a girl. He has a sister.
Is it
No, her name is, damn, I can't believe I don't remember Crash Bandicoot's name.
He has a name? That's not his name?
Crash is his name, but he has a sister. I don't remember her name. Anyway, so if you Google Neil Druckmann, you might see some things that are not so nice because he has girls in his
and also nice
stories.
things because this is very good.
But now people are, I think he's going to probably win something with this. He always wins like Game Writer Awards.
Maybe. Next bullet.
Craig Mazin, who is the other person involved in this. So like, Craig Mazin was the person who was in charge of Chernobyl, and he created Chernobyl on HBO. Which,
okay, just to be clear, he wasn't in charge of Chernobyl.
No, he was in charge of the Chernobyl power plant.
In the 80s.
It's such a dumpster fire. They're like, who can we get to do this show about an apocalypse?
I have an idea. Who doesn't know how nuclear...
So Craig Mazin was working in Ukraine in the 1980s, in Soviet Russia, Ukraine. And what happened was he was in charge of testing the Chernobyl power plant, and people from above in Soviet Russia, in real life, because that's what Craig Mazin is. They were making him do the testing when he wasn't supposed to.
Oh.
So then he did it anyway, and then the whole power plant melted down.
Right, and then he got involved with The Last of Us.
And then HBO, you're right, Neil Druckmann's like, who do we get to make the show version?
Right, because we want this to be an explosion.
Exactly. So they got Craig Mazin, actual guy in charge of Chernobyl.
You guys, we did improv in high school.
We did it. Yay. Yes, end. Anyway, so Craig Mazin was the showrunner and writer and director of Chernobyl, the show, the mockumentary.
The
docuseries
on HBO.
I cannot stress to you how much I loved Chernobyl. I watch clips of that show all the time.
Which is ridiculous.
It's so stupid. It's like just boring and dumb, and I love it. Like, why would you watch this? It's so good.
He almost cursed you guys because he wrote it in there.
I know.
And I watched Chernobyl by myself, and then I was like, Gino, you have to watch it.
And I was like,
Which he poo-poos so many things.
I know.
If you guys can just all DM us and be like, Gino, watch Yellow Jackets. It's so good.
Sony should fund a Chernobyl game.
Right, but I think you should watch Yellow Jackets with me.
Oh, so many people tell me to work on Yellow Jackets.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
So then we're going to watch it.
Listen, make a Yellow Jackets the game, and I'll play it.
It's practically, no, it's too scary to be a game.
Okay.
We're going to watch it.
Anyway, so, I mean, like, I love Last of Us, or, the thing is, I didn't really like the game that much when I played it the first time. It was really good, but now I like it more. So, I mean, it's a perfect combo. You got the guy who made the story and characters, plus the guy who knows how to run a great TV show.
And on Twitter, I have seen the people of gaming world that also watch movies and TV are like, this is the best video game adaptation to TV.
Can we pause for a second and talk about our favorite video game adaptations?
Ugh.
What the hell? It's one of your favorite movies.
Oh, what?
The Super Mario Brothers movie, the first one.
Oh yeah, I was like, I can't participate.
Yeah, I thought you liked that movie.
Oh no, I love it. I didn't think about it. I love that movie.
You know why? Because it's a terrible video game
You're
adaptation.
wrong.
I don't think it's a bad movie. I really like that movie.
There's Goombas in it.
Yeah, no, that's horrible.
Princess Peach, Yoshi.
Okay, could you imagine like instead of
He goes, it's me, Mario.
Instead of Pedro Pascal to play Joel,
John Leguizamo.
John Leguizamo.
Honestly, though, John Leguizamo as Joel.
Give him a mustache and a beard.
We love John Leguizamo.
You know what?
I didn't know he was in John
And all
Wick.
the zombies are just giant shoulders and like tiny little heads.
Yeah, and they're just big.
I mean, Yoshi in that movie is like a gross, slimy
No,
thing.
it's because he hatches and then he's cute. And then he's a dinosaur.
Gross. Yeah, so terrible video game adaptation. I would say the best video game adaptations are probably Sonic, the first movie, but that's still not great because Sonic, I mean, whatever. There's always been TV shows. Detective Pikachu?
There's nothing like before? Nothing before present?
I guess like this Pokemon anime counts.
Nothing before present. So 2000s, I guess, is where we're at.
Is that it? Is this really like the best of the best video game adaptation? And they usually change so much.
I don't know what's so... Okay, the only video game adaptations I know of are the scary ones.
Okay, go ahead. Oh, those are all bad. Go ahead.
But did you like one of the Doom ones?
No, the Doom movies are
None
terrible.
of the Doom ones.
Oh my God.
And then
Resident Evil movies are good, but
What
they have
about the
nothing
silent
to do with.
ones?
Silent Hill movies are apparently terrible.
Right.
I never played the Silent Hill games. The Resident Evil movies have almost nothing to do with the games.
Okay.
So theirs are bad. It's
Isn't
good
there a new
movies,
one
but bad
coming
adaptation.
out?
Like this, I think what makes this a good video game adaptation is that it's basically just straight up following the story of the game. And I think what makes it so good, and we'll talk about this later, is because it's a TV show, it's better able to fit the story structure and character development that a video game has. I think
Right, because
video
it could
games
take
and TV,
longer
right?
as opposed to a movie.
You know, think about a standard season of TV. It's 10 to 15 hours, 20 hours, depending on
Is that
the
how
show.
long you spend playing games?
Most video game stories are about. I mean, a game like Last of Us, at least, is going to be about 10 to 15 hours.
If you die a lot, it takes longer.
And if you die a lot, it takes a lot longer. Yeah. So,
So take Gino.
I'm really bad. Listen, the Last of Us game, a lot of stealth. You're not really supposed to shoot things. You're supposed to like conserve your ammunition, conserve resources.
And Gino's a bull in a china shop in real life.
So like, oh my God, the amount of times I've seen Joel's head get ripped off and bitten, and his arms ripped off and like beaten to death by zombies. Again.
We'll see if that happens in the show.
Could you imagine? Like it was like a meta. See, that's the kind of stupid stuff they would do for old video game adaptations. Like they don't trust the story of the game to be good enough. So they'd be like, well, really, you're playing the game. Blah, there's meta, blah, 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 blah.
Well, I mean, we should do that. We should talk about that one part where it looked like you're playing the game. That was great. You don't have that. in your
Oh,
notes.
yes, which is usually stupid in most video game
Right,
adaptations.
no,
But yeah,
that was
okay.
good.
All right, so same composer as the game. We talked about that. Great. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, again, I just want to shout out Pedro Pascal. And okay, so I think Pedro Pascal is doing a great job playing an accurate Joel.
Joel is a white guy from Texas.
And Pedro Pascal is from Mexico, I think, which is right next to Texas. And he's doing a great
I
job.
think he's from Texas. He's just might be
Okay,
Mexican.
so he's doing a great job.
No, I'm not saying that he's not.
Are you saying that they can't get someone else besides a white
Why
person?
aren't they putting a white male in
Yes.
this role?
Do you also hate Neil Druckmann because he does girls
How
sometimes?
woke?
These woke sellouts?
No,
Yeah, wait, pause, guys. Wait until if season 2 follows the story of season.
Oh, people are going to be...
Do you think that, because you know what happens in
I do, but does that
part
count as a
2.
spoiler that it's woke? I mean, like,
It's
imagine
not okay.
which
Okay,
ways
I want to
it's
pause.
woke.
I want to pause. Okay, I think I'm
We
being
can't
unclear.
talk about it.
The story of part 2 is not at any stretch any percent woke. It is 0% woke. There is nothing that is like pro-gay, anti-gay, anything. Nothing. The story that leaked, people thought was woke, but it was inaccurate to what the actual story was. There's one thing that does happen that people are mad about, and you know what that thing is. We can't talk about it.
Right.
Do you think that like TV internet will be as mad about that thing come season 2
If it's the same people,
as
if it's
video game internet was?
yeah, if it's the same people, but then you'll have the TV people
I'm gonna
defending
scream
it
right
and
now.
being
Mike.
like,
No, I'm just kidding.
then you'll have the TV people being like, shut up.
Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, so yeah, I should be very clear. Like Neil Druckmann was inaccurately called like a. I mean, he does talk about like he likes to show different kinds of people in his stories. So like he's not like anti-woke, but like it's about zombies and bad stuff happens. It's not like the woke
like
SJW story that
it's
people.
not like This Is Us, where we're dealing with like all of these real world. I'm assuming.
Oh well, I'm gonna say yes. You do. There's some parts already for part 2 that I've cried. Almost cried.
Gino,
almost cried.
You're killing me with these.
I
like,
know.
You're
I really
like,
want to talk about it.
No, but you're like on the brink of spoiling.
I know, but I'm not spoiling it. Because if I did spoil it, I'd beep it out.
Okay.
Anyway, I'm really excited for season 2, if it is season 2. All right, cool. I think the actress for Marlene, terrible, inaccurate. Did not remember that character. And it turns out it's the same actress. It's the same actress from the game. I had no idea.
Which is cool.
So she actually is doing a great job because she's playing the same character.
She was in one episode though. Like, is she more important?
I don't remember.
Like, this is my question, because she was like we watched the interview at the end of the show when they like talked to the people, and she's like, I was just so close with this character, and I was like, girl, you're in one episode. I hope you show up more in the game.
I don't remember. I mean, again, spoilers for the first 2 episodes. But Tess, the girl character in this, the one that died,
don't remember her either.
Do not remember her at all.
And I mean,
because she's only in the beginning of the game. I had to look it back up.
Well, so I'm going to talk about her now because why I'm so upset that she already got killed off, because I thought she was a really good foil to Joel. Like, Joel is like, I don't trust this girl. Like, I don't think that she's actually immune. And Tess was like, she's our hope. Like, this is our light. We need to do what we need to do to get her there. Okay, so like I think it was wasteful to already kill her off, but it seems like they must be moving relatively quickly.
And she dies in the same way. I had to go look back and look it up. She dies in the same way in the game. Yeah.
Does she die that quickly?
Yeah, that's why I don't remember. She dies. Yeah, and there's another character I thought it was that it's not her. So what's the actress that plays Tess in the show? Can you look that up?
God, my one job. Anna Torv.
Yeah, so I don't know if she did an accurate job playing Tess, but she is good in the show. When you find out that she's bit, she gives that speech to Joel. Yeah,
it's so good. And like, honestly, I really like her. She also she's just like very matter of fact. She's like, I'm gonna go check this out. She's like pretty badass. She like does all the things. Even in the beginning, right? When they introduce her, she's just like, she's beat up. She just got
she's supposed to be Joel's smuggling partner.
She's a tough cookie.
And then she blows herself up though.
Tough cookie. But like, what? Also, that was a ridiculous scene. I thought that the like fungus zombie was gonna like.
I don't think they ever say the word zombie in the game or the show.
I watched an interview between. I didn't watch it. Let's be honest. Like, I read a meme that was like, what's the words? Captioned, but like, it's between Pedro Pascal and Bella Ramsey, and he like uses a bunch of words that are not zombie, and at the end he goes, "Do you like that? How I didn't say zombie?" So like, fine, whatever. Fungal people.
Yeah.
Infected.
That's like, they call them infected.
The infected, and like it like French kisses her.
Oh, I don't remember that from the game. I'm gonna have to go back.
In the game.
That was spooky.
Well, I thought it was going to like smell her and like leave her alone because she was already infected.
But it's like the fungus was just like, I'm just making sure you're still in there.
Well, but also what that kind of shows us is like, contrary to what we've learned about other like zombie movies, right? Where if you're infected, you kind of become invisible because they can't smell you. In this case, the infected are just like, blah, like get in here, become
they're like
one
a hive
of us.
mind, yeah.
Exactly. So like, I guess that was also kind of a show don't tell kind of
that's
thing.
like the fungus is smarter than like a normal zombie.
Right, like exactly.
But I want to stress, and this is one of the differences between the game and the show. And the game focuses more on like the characters and their interactions, and obviously the gameplay, versus like about what the fungus actually is. I think a lot of that's in like background stuff, like if you find like a letter in in a building, whereas the show seems like the first 2 episodes, the beginning of each episode, the cold open, is giving us more background on the fungus itself.
Let's talk about our 2 different views on this.
Yeah, so I think they're dumbing it down for TV people, because in the game starts out, you're playing as Joel's daughter, It's Joel's birthday. She goes downstairs. She gives him a watch. I think she takes a nap. And then like all hell breaks loose. And then it goes right into the outbreak. Whereas the show has a cold open where they have some guy in the 60s.
So an interviewer interviewing two scientists in the 60s.
A new word I learned yesterday, despite the fact that I'm a bio teacher. What is the study of funguses?
Mycology.
I had no idea. I'm a good teacher, I promise. So there's a mycologist who's talking about how like if this cordyceps fungus ever evolved to then attack humans, they had to throw in a climate change reference because Neil Druckmann is a woke sellout. SJW.
Let me wait. Can I pause and tell everybody my great lesson that I planned as a teacher?
Oh, yeah. Go ahead.
Okay, so any living environment teachers out there, or I mean specifically...
Or bio teachers.
Or bio. This specifically works for like New York state standards.
Everyone knows about fungus.
No, but like the lesson that I came up with that I'm really proud of. If you have your kids listen to that intro and also like transcribe it and have them write down every... like at the end, right, to like review.
And then quickly turn it off before any of the R-rated show starts and like
pause.
Scroll right past all the inappropriate stuff on HBO.
And have them like just make connections to everything you've learned throughout the year because truly this guy is like symbiosis, climate change.
He does say a lot of stuff. Yeah. And I was
variation.
like, I don't know if I can show that in a middle school.
I think you can just just like the clip of it, it's just like. And I mean, coming from like a biology standpoint, hearing all of it was just like a breath of fresh. But the guy did Chernobyl.
Breath of fresh what?
Oh, breath of fresh.
Is that like a cool way of saying it now?
Yeah. People just say breath of fresh.
Hanging
you just
around
need to
two
know what
little
it
kids?
means.
I mean, I got it.
No, grown-ups say that. Millennials. Kids
We're
don't say that.
millennials.
Kids say...
I've never heard someone say breath of fresh.
Breath of fresh.
Except for like a Winter Mint gum commercial.
Oh, you're not listening to the same things I am.
Winter Mint gum commercials?
No, bravo.
Oh, okay. Full of millennials. What are you talking about? Real Housewives.
Yeah, young and hip.
Yeah, so it's a good lesson, highly effective on the
Thank you.
on the Danielson framework.
Rate me.
If you did it in New York City, you'd get ineffective, but
a
you work on Long
billion%.
Island, so you get highly effective.
But so like I'm going to talk about my views. I love the cold opens. For me, it doesn't feel dumbed down because I know nothing about this universe. So like it is a bit different. And like the cold open I thought was fine. It wasn't even long. It was like a very quick 2-minute kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then the second episode I thought was really great. There's like barely any dialogue in it, right? They just pick up this woman who's eating. She's like, you got the wrong lady. They're like, now we need you, Miss Mycologist.
You're a mycologist. I was like,
professor.
Pause. When is that, Toby?
Right, and then that's where we learned it because in undergrad, my research class was in mycology. I know nothing about fungus other than how to make an agar plate.
I can make like a really good like mushroom kind of thing for a steak, like a sautéed mushroom thing.
Yeah, but he can't grow it from a spore.
No, and because of this game now, this show,
we're
every
never
time I see him,
anything from a spore.
I just kick him whenever they're on the lawn. Kick him,
which is something you should learn not to do because then the spores are going to infect us and then we're going to be sick.
Oh, now I'm gonna kick him even harder.
Great. So we're all going to be, so the really cool thing about that intro, I think, is like, generally the scientist is like the cool, calm, collected one that's like, oh, we have to like catch everybody. We have to make sure we like quarantine. And this woman's like,
this felt very Chernobyl, that scene.
Yes. She's
bomb
like,
the place. You're like, oh God.
Yeah. She's like, the guy's
blow
like,
up the city.
The guy's like, vaccine. She's like, bomb.
Yeah. And again, I'm not a doctor here, but a lot of the science does work in the sense that cordyceps funguses are real. They do take over insects. And really, there's not, if you get like a fungal infection, right? Like, what are your options? Like, if you get athlete's foot, you have the fungicide creams.
I don't know about...
I gotta talk to a doctor.
Yeah, but
this.
I think the thing is, the fungus lives inside. Like,
right, so is there anything you can do if there's a fungus inside you?
Which they're saying that they can't live inside you, right? Because we don't have the correct body temperature.
But that's specific species of fungus.
But no, but like, I don't think any fungus can live inside
well, you can get
us.
like, and not to be gross, everybody, but you can get like a yeast infection. That's a fungus.
Is it?
Yeast is a fungus.
Oh, then you can get yeast infections. It's called thrush.
Bio teacher.
I wasn't sure what it was.
Thrush in the back of your throat is a bacteria, I think.
No.
It's a fungus?
Yeah.
So like...
Because you take like an antifungal...
So just like...
Oh.
Just
I should look
I don't know. I want to talk to a doctor. Like, if this did happen, could they Like, are there fungicides that work inside the human body?
Right, because you wouldn't do the guy was like vaccine or antibiotic.
And she's like, there is none.
Right. I mean, like, fungicide is what you would say, right? Like, Gino's got a point. Like, do I just like swallow?
Just do like Trump said. You swallow, instead of swallowing bleach, swallow athlete's foot cream.
Right.
Stick athlete's foot cream right in the wound.
Right. So like, is this treatable? I don't know.
It doesn't matter. It's for fiction, hopefully.
Oh my God! Wait! Can I tell you when I watched Dawn of the Dead, I got really scared of like this like blood infection or whatever. So I asked my mom who worked with blood, could this happen? I was like very scared. I was in middle school.
Your mom was standing right by the lights, but she said yes and closed the lights off.
She freaking said it could, and I was like, what nightmares?
Yeah, you know what's funny? I started teaching right when The Last of Us Part 1 came out on PS3 and PS4. And I could always tell when a kid played it because they'd ask about cordyceps.
When you talk about symbiosis.
For like 5-6 years. Now no one talks about it because now all kids play is Fork Knife and Mineshaft and Roblox. But back in the day when my students played actual video games.
Right, they learned about parasitism.
I would know about cordyceps. They would ask me about cordyceps. And I'm like, you play The Last of Us? They're like, yeah.
That's why he says it so well.
Cordyceps? Yeah, exactly. I have to look it up.
Yeah. Is she being blunt?
Also, if you are a middle school kid, you should not be playing The Last of Us. It's very violent and cursing
and
a lot.
Yeah, get off.
My opinion has changed because now that so when we watched the first episode, I'm like, man, video games are better. They're dumbing this down.
This is not what happened.
The game just goes straight into the story. What is this nonsense?
I just want the game.
I think what they're going to be doing here is that every episode is going to start with a different cold open that has nothing to do with the plot,
which is so good.
Just to give more background on the fungus that the video game either never goes into, or it would have been one of those things where, like, while you're playing the game and you're going through an area, like the characters would talk about it,
picked up on
which you wouldn't do in a show because that would take like forever. So, like in a game, you can do that kind of stuff because you're playing it.
And so, are they hinting, right, that the fungus started in Jakarta?
I don't think they're hinting it, Toby. I think they straight up
that's
said
what they said, right?
Yeah.
Like, it started here, 14 people are missing, and we're going to, like, go crazy.
I bet you if I go replay Last of Us Part 1, which was re-released on PS5 recently, that there's, like, some letter in some background of some building somewhere that you go through that's, like, a newspaper article, like, new fungal infection in Jakarta, Indonesia.
Do you think people are super mean about it and calling it...
Well, remember, The Last of Us was created before COVID happened.
Right.
So people back then thought that, like, people would be normal. So I was reading not a review of this, but like someone talking about the first episode, being like, people need to start taking into account how horrible a lot of people dealt with COVID in terms of their response, and in terms of like their political responses, whenever they're going to make another story about.
Throw it.
But this stupid person was claiming about The Last of Us, and I'm gonna be like, The Last of Us came out in 2013. You idiot.
Oh, let's talk about that. Why does it take place in 2003?
Okay, yes. Okay, so I could be entirely wrong, but The Last of Us, the game, takes. Okay, so the scene with Joel and his daughter takes place when the game came out in 2013, and then skips forward later. 20 years. So the main games take place in the 2030s. For some reason, one of the major changes they made, unless I'm entirely wrong here,
I'm going to put this on TikTok,
is that the show takes place in 2003, and like I haven't seen a reason why they did that. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't matter when the game takes place.
Have you seen people talking about it? Because maybe you're wrong.
No, maybe, but I looked it up. The game takes place in 2033, and like the beginning happens in 2013. Like, even if that happened like the game starts in modern times, and modern times was 2013.
And like the technology, like we still had cell phones back in 2003.
And like you're only in that time for like 10 minutes in the game.
I mean,
and same with the show.
Is it maybe like the amount of internet? They wanted like less of it, right? In 2013.
Like 20 minutes.
I know. I can't think of a good reason.
Yeah, there's a couple of things they did to change the beginning that I think are good. In The Last of Us, the game, you play as the daughter in the beginning, but it's only like for 5 minutes. You usually walk around the house. So like you don't really get to know the daughter that well. And I think a really good change they made in the show was that the first episode is real. I mean, the first half of the first episode.
First half, yeah.
She's the main character. So they took that idea of we're going to have you play as this character in the game, so you kind of get connected with her, and which I think they didn't do that great of a job in the game because it just immediately goes into craziness. And they took that and they made it translate one to a show, and then expanded her character out so much more.
Right.
So you really like her,
and
then bam,
well, so
Ned Stark.
For somebody that like didn't know, like I knew that this game was about Ellie and Joel, right? And I was like,
I refuse to tell you if she dies.
So I was like, where's the daughter? Like, who is this person?
You're like, oh, is that Ellie? I'm like, oh, no, that's not Ellie.
Right. And so they did such a good job of just making her be such like a caring character.
Can you look up the actress? She does it. Yeah, and she's a little older.
She's British.
Yeah, she's a little older in the show than she is in the game. In the game, she's a little younger. But it plays out pretty much exactly the same. There's no parts about like the old people.
Nico Parker.
So like I've seen her on press tours and stuff. So they're really trying to trick people into thinking she's like a really important part of the show.
Oh, speaking of show, she was in Dumbo. We found out Dumbo was made by what's his face?
Me?
No.
Okay.
The guy who does Stripes. We literally talked about it last episode.
I don't remember. So she does a great job, and I just like want people who haven't played the game to watch this so that I can be like, what'd you think of the first episode when they killed the main character in the first 20 minutes? Like they beat Game of Thrones record
for views
of like killing people.
Oh, like the speed of
Game of Thrones right to the end of the season.
Oh, Dumbo was her first movie.
She did a great job. And I really like her like rapport with Joel is really good. They really seem like daughter and father. Like, I don't know. It was nice seeing Joel for a little longer before he becomes like a bad guy.
Right. So like you get to see him be like love
a regular dad.
Right. And he's like kind of like a jerk dad a little bit where like, but he's a single father. Like he's working a lot as far as we know.
I don't remember.
Right. Well, there's no mom
he's
in the
divorced.
picture.
He's divorced.
Okay. So she lives with, so there's that. And then I also really liked, so for someone that watches horror movies, right, you know this old lady that's like immobile, something's going to happen to her. Like she's going to kill someone. So they follow her, right, and eventually she does kill someone. Now, I was under the impression that she was going to rip Sarah apart. I love that they did not do that.
No, the sad thing is that she doesn't get killed by zombies. She gets killed by an army man, a person.
Which is wild.
Yeah.
And like they get close and like that sucks. But honestly,
and it's the exact same. He's like, we're not sick.
Right. But that's exactly what would happen. You like, honestly, if there was some sort of outbreak, which happened, we were able to trust the military because
like the COVID outbreak didn't turn people into like zombies.
Right,
it only had like a 1 or 2% mortality rate.
Right. And so, like we didn't want to eat each other.
All you had to do for COVID was just like stay home and like man, people still couldn't figure that out.
I hate home.
And so, put on a mask and like ugh.
Right. So like I get, but like if we ever turn into zombies, like don't trust the military. They won't spare you.
I would probably shoot someone if there was a zombie outbreak and they're like, no, we're hurt, but we're not bit. I'm like, F that.
Right? Show me your bite. Show me your wounds. Yeah,
well, they didn't know then. Right.
They didn't.
But yeah, that's like, again, I mean, this is the standard trope of all zombie things where it's like the humans are the real bad guys. Yes. And like, yes, The Last of Us does a lot of that.
Well, because at some point the zombies get boring. And also people are bad.
Right.
People are inherently, I'm sorry.
It's better than Walking Dead.
No.
Yeah.
We can't make that.
I'm telling you. I only lasted 3 seasons of The Walking Dead. I've played both of The Last of Us games, so it's better.
I have to burp. I'm sorry.
Okay. Burp into the mic.
But also, like, one we shall see, because The Walking Dead was pretty good.
Did the original comic creator help with The Walking Dead the show?
Yeah, he was the showrunner.
Was he?
Yeah. Ugh, I gotta do more research. I'm not fast enough.
Okay. I want to talk about something that I had to mansplain to Toby, which is I think interesting. So, one of the big parts of episode 2 was the introduction of the clicker zombies, which are the more powerful zombies or infected. Sorry. So essentially, after an infected kind of lasts a little longer.
I don't know. They seemed pretty powerful right off the bat. Like when they were getting chased, when he was getting chased, that
Episode 1, the guy was like
crazy, and those are the scariest zombies. Like put me
Running
in a room
zombies.
with one that's like brains.
Yeah.
I'll be fine.
The Last of Us zombies are like that until you get caught, and then they chase after you.
But not in this show. In the show, they're like real fast,
got caught.
speedy. No, he didn't get caught.
Yeah, he was getting chased by him. And
Right, but he was being chased. What I'm saying
Yeah.
is, you put me in a room with a slow zombie that's like typical,
Yes.
fine, I can get away. But
These ones, no.
any of these like new world zombies
Yeah.
that run real fast.
if
that
there's
have,
no one
like,
around, the Last of Us zombies are like that, which is why you can stealth kill them.
Why exert your energy, you know?
But yes, once they see you're there. So the clickers, what makes them scary is that like they are super powerful and they can use echolocation so they can hear you really well. And Toby's like, well, that's dumb. Like, what did you say? Like, why wouldn't they be able to?
Oh, no. What like confused me was like they had eyes once, right? So like now there's just a fungus like over their eyes. It wouldn't be like, they wouldn't be blinded. They would just have like a layer of like meat over them.
So which I was trying to explain to Toby was like the clickers were not necessarily designed for like what fear they can induce. They're a gameplay mechanic. Like the clickers were designed as a gameplay mechanic. So the way it works in video games, in a good video game, is that you slowly introduce new mechanics to the player. So like you start off with the regular zombies, right? They are pretty lame when they don't know you're there. You can stealth kill them. But once they see you, then they're going to chase after you. But even if they do chase after you, if it's 1 or 2, you can kill them. Whereas the clickers are way more powerful. So the risk is higher, but they can't see you. They can only hear you.
Right.
They're not designed for like the plot as much as they're designed for
which makes
gameplay.
sense.
And then the plot goes around. Like,
My issue was that Joel literally flashed his flashlight on one of their faces.
Yeah, you
and
can
I
walk
was
right
like,
in front of them.
I was like, they should be able to detect light.
Yeah, no.
Like changes in light.
But what makes the clickers...
Yeah, but sorry. Well, only because the ones outside reacted to light, but they didn't have a fungus.
Yeah, the
growing on their
regular...
head.
So the regular stage 1... So
can see you.
Eventually, like, you'll see in the game, they have like federal government, like things you can look at to like show you the different stages of infection.
Fun.
So stage 1 is like the normal ones, and then stage 2 is the clickers.
What is stage 3?
I'm not telling you, it's a spoiler.
Ooh.
Yeah. And there might be more beyond that. Because in the second game, they add more.
They
variants.
also foreshadowed the clickers, like right away. I was like, oh, we're going to see.
Well, you only knew about the clickers because you showed me play the game.
Right, but they definitely.
And they kill the crap out of me all the time because I'm bad at stealth.
He's bad at stealth. But what my thing was, they definitely foreshadowed it when they were just walking through, and Ellie's like, have you seen the ones with multiple heads
Oh,
and
yes,
stuff?
yes.
Right, so
and they didn't say anything.
No, they didn't. I was like, oh, we're going to see.
Because Joel was getting flashbacks to when I play as Joel, and he dies a million times. To the clickers. And yeah, it's just they change up the game. So now you got all used to like running around just stabbing zombies without anyone noticing, and then the clickers show up. So now it's like, okay, well, if you make any noise, you're dead. So yeah, the more stuff we see from these zombie variants, just remember they were designed for gameplay first.
There's also very fast to introduce the scary ones. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I don't imagine when they introduce them. Probably in the beginning of the game. I want to say the clickers in the show are exactly like the ones in the game.
Oh, you know what?
Sound, design, they are exactly like the ones in the game. I mean, perfect.
I just thought of another video game turned TV show that got canceled. Which one did I watch over the summer where the girl gets infected and it's the dad has like clones. The 2 girls are clones. It was a show on Netflix.
It's based on a video game?
Yes. You told me.
No video game I've ever heard of.
I'm going to look it up.
The Witcher is... Oh, no, The Witcher's based
not The Witcher.
Witcher's based on a book.
Right. No, it's not The Witcher. It was somebody out there.
I mean, clearly if it was already
yelling
canceled...
at the screen. I liked it. I'm going to find
Mario Kart, the video movie.
LOL. Keep going.
Do you think that the new Super Mario Brothers movie is going to be as good as this? Is Chris Pratt as good of a Super Mario as Joel is, as Pedro Pascal is to Joel? Yes. Pedro Pascal would have made a better Mario than...
Pedro Pascal, we've decided, can do anything.
Yeah. I mean, like,
what
please.
else did you say? Oh, he should have been in Uncharted.
He would have been a better... Yeah, I mean, you take his mustache off, he would have been a better Nathan Drake than freaking Spider-Man, who looked nothing like Nathan Drake. Anyway, yada yada yada. Cold open. Yeah. So I want to go back to the cold open a little bit because what Toby was mentioning, I don't like the cold opens because I think I thought it was them dumbing it down for the show, but that second cold open with the mycologist and her hands start shaking and she says to bomb the place, incredible. Toby's mad they killed a woman already. So you're saying that Neil Druckmann's not woke enough?
I mean, like, there will be other women that they introduce, I assume. I can't just be Joel and Ellie the whole time and then men.
Men. Yeah, I want to say Nick Offerman, not in this yet. Terrible job, Nick Offerman. I'm really excited to see Nick Offerman because despite the fact that Parks and Rec sucks, I really like Nick Offerman in Parks and Rec. So I said Parks and Rec sucked. You're not even listening.
Because you're
That's
wrong.
usually a trigger for Toby.
Because I know you're kidding because you love Parks and Rec.
So I'll say it again. Besides the fact that Parks and Rec sucks,
no, it didn't.
Nick Offerman is awesome in that.
It was Resident Evil.
It was another. Oh, it was a Resident Evil show.
Yeah.
Okay. Again, that plot that you just told me has nothing to do with the Resident Evil games.
None of them.
None of them. You watched me play Resident Evil 8.
The baby.
And you're in the village, and it's like in Spain, and you're trying to find your baby daughter. And then a weird fetus monster chases after you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like
that didn't happen in the show.
I hate horror games. So for me to play through a horror game, it has to be really, really good. So like Last of Us Part 8, I knew about this fetus baby, spoiler alert. And I had to sit there with the lights on, with Toby in the room, so that she can laugh at the fetus baby. Because Resident Evil 8 is like not really scary, and then it's really scary with that stupid fetus baby. Stop. And they take away all your weapons. And
run.
I specifically hate in games when there's a character you can't kill. That's my least favorite thing in a horror game. So like Resident Evil 2 had that with Mr. X. Resident Evil 8 had that with the fetus baby for a little bit.
Nobody cares about the games that you. I just feel like everyone has stopped listening. Gino's defeated. I'm going to continue.
Like and subscribe. Thanks for watching the show, everybody. Can you tell I really want to do a gaming podcast, but I can't? Toby.
I want to watch horror movies, and I can't.
Oh, screw horror movies. This is the only show that we should just do a Last of Us podcast exclusively because it's the only thing we both agree on.
Oh my God, we would talk about it for so long.
Yeah, I mean, we pretty much hit all of our notes, Toby. Is there anything else you want to talk about?
Just that I guess I'm done. I'm excited. It does seem also like a very good story, where you have like this. Also, I'm like a sucker for like the gruff, grumpy, like sexy man.
Joel is an awesome character.
Joel, give me like the David Harbors and like like Pedro Pascal.
David Harbour would have been a good Joel.
David Harbour would have been a good Joel. Right, he's too big, and like that would have been the problem.
But, and I'd be like, ha ha ha, David Harbour.
I know, we would have been like, you were Santa. So like Pedro Pascal's great. Also, like I like seeing his personality. We watched The Mandalorian where he's very monotone, but has to deal with the baby. So like again with David Harbour, who has to deal with children in shows he's in, like and is a grumpy dad or whatever character. Pedro Pascal knocks it out of the park.
Good job. I'm hoping there's going to be a cameo by the voice actors for Joel and Ellie. So Joel is played by a voice actor named Troy Baker, who's like one of the top voice actors. He made a cameo appearance in, I think, in Uncharted.
Bandicoot. Oh,
yeah. I don't know if he plays the Uncharted guy. Never mind. And then Ellie's played by. It's going to sound really random. The waitress from the first Avengers movie.
Ah.
So there's a blonde waitress who was supposed to have a much bigger part, and her part got cut down a lot, but she's still in it. That's the voice of Ellie. So you go back to Avengers Avengers the first one, the first Avengers. You'll see her. That's Ellie. So I'm waiting for her to make a cameo because you gotta have her.
I mean, if you're gonna have one voice actor, I would. If I was in it, I'd be like, what about me?
Yeah.
I love this too.
Yeah.
All right, we done?
Yes. Can I talk more about the history of PlayStation?
I would love for that. But that's it. Thank you for listening.
and then the fireflies.
What are you doing?
I bleep all that out. It's fine. Okay, bye, everybody.
Like and subscribe.